Industry 45 show, brought to you by Krown Rust Control, Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Make sure you check them out. And Jeff Salem is here. By the way, I got something for you.
Oh, okay.
I felt bad. It's Valentine's Day,
Ooh.
And you're married, right?
I am.
And you're with me and not your wife, so I brought you some chocolates. Well, which one would you like? You get one or the other, because I'm taking the other one.
I'm going to do the Kit Kat.
Okay. So you can either eat it now, or you can take it home to your wife. Because,
you know what? I think I'll take this home to my wife.
All right. Just
honey,
I felt bad that you were hanging out with me and not with her. So, showmanship.
Yes.
Because you have, I don't know, like you're not over the top, but you kind of get the spins going, and your attitude when you're hitting stuff.
Yeah.
So is that something you learned, practiced?
I remember seeing Tommy Aldrich doing a clinic years ago, and this kind of always stood out. Like, I was still a teenager, and he said, I hear these guys on these recordings, and they sound amazing. I go see them live, and the drummer's like, when's the gig done? They're looking at their watch. So they're not looking like they're so into it and stuff like this. Just putting your attitude, your passion, everything. I'm not saying that, there's a time and place where I'm going to, spin and twirl sticks. Like, obviously with my Epic Eagles tribute.
Right.
I ain't going to be friggin' twirling sticks in that thing, right? When I play the AC/DC show, I don't twirl sticks in that show, right?
See, I come prepared today. See, so there you go. But no, you do a great job because it's kind of subtle, but you kind of have the, the flip of the stick and then the crash.
I don't do it all the time. Depends on how I feel. I got my handful of things I can pull out.
You're saying though with Epic Eagles, not so much. It's
I don't know. We'll find out. Depends.
Have you guys played a gig yet?
First gig is April 6th.
Oh,
Signals Brewery out in Belleville area.
Nice.
So we're getting a lot of dates booked. We got about a dozen dates booked so far coming up.
So it's on my mind. So Dean Young's the singer.
The singer and the drummer too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I saw you were drumming and he's singing, and then I watch a promo video and he's drumming and you're playing some percussion. So what's going on?
So what we'll do is basically.
And does he pay you more money for multitasking? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. So we'll take a lot of the signature songs that Don Henley was being, people were really used to seeing behind the kid, like Hotel California,
I was gonna say,
Life in the Fast Lane, playing that. Well, I'll go to percussion, and if there's no percussion, and I'll take a break. I'll go to the bar and get a drink. No, but yeah, I think that's the idea. Is they'll give him a handful of songs, and he does sing that stuff really well. And the band, it's a really talented bunch of guys. Actually.
You don't sing.
You don't want to hear me sing.
Really?
I'll just talk. Yeah. I do have my own percussion group called Enviro-Drum. It's like
we'll talk about that too. Yeah.
Stomp meets Blue Man Group. We have a whole script. I mean, I do a little bit of singing in that, but not lead.
I was so disappointed you didn't sing Mother Father by Journey, because if you've ever heard Dean Castronovo sing it, just blew my mind. The first time I heard the song, Dean sang it.
Yeah.
And Roy does a great job as well. But so you're not getting into any of that.
Yeah, no. I got to tell you, I think one of the things of the vocal thing, when I was young, I remember taking vocal lessons as a teenager. I had this teacher who was just really bitter and jaded, and we're going through warm-ups and scales. And like, and he was like, it was almost like the scene in the movie Whiplash. The guy young goes, he's hitting the note, goes, you can't find the note. You're never going to sing. Like, and it was like one of those things goes, okay, it kind of sucked. But that kind of like scarred me for a bit. I mean, I can sing a little bit of backups, but no, I wouldn't call myself.
You don't sing any backups at all, though, right?
No.
And
not a singer. I own microphones, but I don't sing.
Let's go to practicing. So practicing. You still practice?
I try whenever I can, but the whole practice schedule is quite...
I told you, I come prepared.
Look at this. You got sticks, practice pad. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go, man.
Can I play in your band now?
Most of my practicing is related to the next gig. So, for example, next week I got to fly to Edmonton in February. Woo! Looking forward to it.
Beautiful.
A gig with the Beach Boys tribute. So it's like... I'll probably just chart out some stuff
But you don't go through like rudiments or like old, kind of the beginning.
No,
none of that. No,
not. I mean, unless there's something I want to add some new flavor to. But most of my practice kind of thing, like here's how I kind of look at certain practicing, and I try to relate to students. It's like I want to spend time on something that will be much more fundamental, valued in the future. Like, sure, I do a lot of like 5-way independence where I play with a whistle and my left foot's hitting a clave thing, and I got so much crazy stuff in it. Nowhere I can apply that on a gig. You just completely divide my brain up. Would I like to practice that? Yes, but I think it's more important for me to shed maybe 20 songs I got to be prepared for next weekend, because I'm not going to find that other stuff to use, particularly like on the gig and stuff like that. So one of the things I really just spent a lot of time is trying to maintain and learn material. So 3 stages I go through: learn it, everything really slow, get it up tempo, and try to memorize it. I remember a few years ago, I got to know David Garibaldi really well from Tower Power. We were actually really good friends. So whenever he was in Toronto, he would come to my place, right? And we would hang out. And I remember we said, let's just jam. We put on a couple songs. And I remember we put on Shake Your Body Down by Michael Jackson. And there's like 3 overdub drum parts to it. And I had a thing that slowed down. We slowed down to 60 beats per minute. And we try to play to that. It was like freaking very difficult to do that. But those are the things to practice, you know. Right. And we just talked about trying to practice really slowly, going through things like that.
Is there anything you want to learn at this point? Like, is there anything like, you know, I don't know, either a style or a song
instrument?
You say, yeah.
You know, if I had an opportunity to spend more time, I'd love to learn to play tabla. You know,
I don't even. What is that?
Tabla, East Indian instrument. Yeah.
I thought you meant like a tablet, like, you know.
Pretty good.
I don't know,
but I mean that's broad, like hand percussion. You know, obviously the tabla is a beautiful instrument, but on drum set, you know,
like there's nothing you sit there and say, I want to learn how to play that. Like I don't know how to play it. I can't figure that out. I'm
pretty like.
You're pretty good. We get that. Blah blah.
I mean,
blah,
yeah. There's some things I don't really have a passion to want, like you know, like the real hardcore death metal thing. Like
that's not you.
No, I appreciate what the drummer's doing and stuff. Like that's a total workout. You know, the blast beat, but that's not really my thing that I desire to want to learn.
Right.
But maybe just more like being comfortable, like some of the world style music and stuff like that. But right. I always just try to improve on consistency, timing, and all those things coming back.
So back to this book again, living a healthy lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And we did talk about
coffee.
that. Yeah, coffee. And living your life as a musician. So healthy lifestyle is part of it, but you have found a way to but be a musician, right? Like you don't have another job. This is what you do. And you play in tribute bands and you do a lot of other things. So how have you been able to put that together as a business person? Like when did you sit down and say, you know what, I don't play in Journey. I don't make $1 million a year.
Sure.
I play in some tribute bands. I play in some original bands, but explain about some of the other ways that you're making money right now, making a living as a musician.
Yeah. So quite a diversity. So I've always felt like the educational thing. Like I started doing school programs in 1995, and you know where I walked into school, I brought my drum set, and I started telling stories about my career, and that's kind of what inspired the book. A lot of school principals got into that. So when I would do that, I would only do that. Actually, sorry, it first just started by just working with the drum students of the school. So you go to high school, there might be 5 drum students. So I come in there, teach them rudiments on the snare drum, and go through it. Then I would do a band program. Then I try to think, well, what can I offer for the entire school? Because that's what the principal wants, and that's when I formed Enviro-Drum. But when I started doing the hand drumming,
right,
drum circles.
So explain what all that is. So for anybody that doesn't know what a drum circle is.
So basically, you know, it's funny. I don't even call it, the word drum circle, you know, goes back, you know, decades ago. A lot of the guys down on the beach in California playing with a bonfire. I call my program an interactive drumming workshop. So I bring some hand drums, teach them about world rhythms. I got to say, a big part of what I do yearly is that I probably do close to 100 of those type of events.
Wow.
Like yesterday I did a school. Tomorrow I got 3 schools, kindergarten kids. Just all I'm trying to do is create kids to be excited about learning an instrument.
Right.
It might be drums because I'm coming to the drums. If it's not drums, another instrument. Like all last week, I was at one school for the entire week working with the whole school. Everyone had a drum. Everyone's drumming. And just really getting people to feel part of a community, feel confident with themselves, build self-esteem.
Right.
And just teach them rhythms and stuff and facilitating that. So that has been a big part that turned like into a business for me, that too. But you have to have a balance also, aside from that, to make you appreciate music, because a lot of artists have something completely different doing. Like, it's funny, I just watched an interview on YouTube with Brian Johnson from AC/DC interviewing Nick Mason from Pink Floyd. His other passion is race cars. So my thing is my hot sauce. So
we're going to get to your hot sauce.
Yeah, yes. So I enjoy doing that, and it's actually turned into a business. So why don't we talk
about the hot sauce now, since we're there?
Okay.
So this is your latest?
That's one. Yeah, that one won an award. Actually, it's called Heat Stroke
hot sauce.
It's got some interesting things in it, but it's all natural ingredients. How I got into doing this. So I've been making hot sauce for about a decade, but as a legit business, about 4 years. just all my travels around the world, about 78 countries I've been to. I go to a restaurant. It could be in St. Louis, Missouri, or Buenos Aires, Argentina. I asked for a bottle of hot sauce. They give me a bottle. The number one ingredient was a lot of water, sodium, too much vinegar. I'm like, how come no one's just making sauce where you complement a pepper with fruits or vegetables? And that's all I do. No thickening agents, no chemicals, no cornstarch.
Alcohol.
That one has alcohol. Yes, that one has good alcohol. I have another one that's got tequila in it as well, too, and spice rum. And I just started making. I enjoy doing it. It's my labor of love, and it's turned into a business. I'm at about 50 stores. It's the Scary label's my last name. Salem, Lott, Scary Hot Sauce.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't give you a Scary T-shirt, it's
Can
a
I
little.
hold my T-shirt to the camera somewhere? I don't know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's actually a retro. Look, that's an old label on there. See, that'll be worth money someday.
So I should sell this now while
You
it's
could
worth
probably
something.
you can probably get so the sauce it's turning into a business. I'm actually seeing money come from it, so which is good.
So it's all part of you making
part of my diversity. Like let's say you have a basket of different mutual funds. That's one of the funds.
So Enviro-Drum is what?
Okay, there's a funny story about, and I have to share this with you. When anyone calls you for a gig, doesn't matter if you feel prepared for it. What do you say? Sure, I'll take it. You say yes, as long as you feel confident, accept it. So people have always asked, Enviro-Drum started over 10 years ago when I did a corporate drum circle for Loblaws, and it went really well for Galen Weston. I did a hand percussion thing, and his secretary called me months later, goes, listen, Jeff, he goes, Galen's really big into the recycling. We have our big yearly management meeting. He wants some type of percussion band that plays on recyclable instruments, and I'd love to get your opinion. I came across some people online, and I'm wondering if I could share that with you, and you tell me which one you would recommend, unless you have your own band. I go, I do. She goes, what do you call them? I'm like, Enviro-Drum. So
then
and
you
it
went
just
home
came out of me.
wow.
And she goes, oh, do you have any videos? She goes, well, we're relatively new.
I'm making one tonight.
We just started doing some school programs. We're not allowed to film, but I'll put a proposal together. I hung up the phone, and I go, what did I just get myself into? And the gig was in 2 weeks, so I called a few drummers, and I said, one good friend of mine said, hey, man, have you heard of the band called Enviro-Drum? He goes, no, it's kind of cool. He goes, well, you're in it. So we basically, I got together with a couple guys, and I thought, let's complement it with keyboards. And we did this show for Loblaws. It was a huge success. And I thought, let's bring it to schools. There's a whole dialogue and educational thing behind it. And from that, even a few years later, I've actually franchised that out in the USA. I have somebody in Washington, D.C. who does it.
Wow.
And where can you do a gig where I got 3 drummers on the same gig?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's a fun thing.
You still post stuff up on Facebook.
Yes.
Now, I've seen it like in the last little bit, right, with Enviro-Drums. What else can I ask you? What about that Modern Drummer article? When did that come out?
Yeah, I wrote a few.
Because I saw that, and that's it right there, right?
Which one that? About my studio. That was a handful, how I started my business. But I wrote a few other educational articles. There was one called Funky Threes. There was an Independence one, I think it was called A Migraine Headache. There was one called The Brain Tumor. So a few things. And I did write for a lot of magazines, like Canadian Musician, doing a lot of that stuff, blogging online. So, and then I've actually have a couple of published books through Hudson Music, distributed through Hal Leonard. I wrote one called Messing with the Ball.
It's all part of your business.
All part of it. The whole educational thing. So I plan on my future thing, still going to play until, this can't do it anymore, or this can't do it anymore. And still keep making hot sauce. I'll always keep teaching.
Here's something you probably don't know.
Okay.
Rush might be looking for a drummer. So if you're interested, I can give you some phone numbers, some people you can call.
Okay.
If you want to look at that gig, it's up to you.
Well, you know what? I ran into Geddy Lee once doing a hot sauce demo.
See?
Seriously. Yeah, he was there with his mother. I tried to get his attention because I says, man, you should let me make you a sauce. We'll call it Head Rush. But it didn't happen. I invited him to try some samples. There was a store down in his area.
Yeah.
He was very polite. Hey, was like you said. He goes, no, I'm okay. He goes, it's mom time. I'm like, darn it. So I could have got in there, but I didn't.